Hey guys, it's Jake with Kevsky Diaspora again. Today we're at the Isaac Walton Range in Huntington, Indiana, and we're shooting a brown bess. First we're shooting a 70 grain charge. Our 70 grain charge is a figure that we got from Stuart Reed's book about flintlock muskets, as well as one of our Russian researcher friends. 70 grains gave us 684 feet per second, 514 foot-pounds, 697 joules, and only 15 feet of recoil. And now we're at 100 grains. The 100 grain charge is a common shooting charge for people who are shooting flintlock muskets like the brown bess. That charge gave us 826 feet per second, 751 foot-pounds of energy, or 1,018 joules, and 26 pounds of recoil. Okay, Jerry, we're through the hundreds. Let's see what you got.
70 grains. First shot, second shot, third shot. Switch to 100, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Okay, and this is the 25-yard target here at the Isaac Walton Range in Huntington, Indiana, and that's our first 6 shots. This batch is 120 grain.
Not quite sure on the sequencing, but with 120 grains, 7, 8, 9.
That's a nice group. 25 yards
yes.
With a musket loaded with paper cartridge. 120 grain charge is another fairly commonly used charge. This charge got us 886 feet per second, 864 foot-pounds of energy, 1,171 joules, and 34 pounds of recoil. This is all shot with Schutzen 2F powder. So any different granulation or even different brands will give us different pressures. And these are all averages from the several shots that were taken. Next up is Cuthbertson's 155 grain charge. Okay, Jerry, 155 grain. How'd it go?
Number 10, number 11, number 12. Not as tight a group, but still in the black.
In Bennett Cuthbertson's book on the economy of a battalion of foot, he suggests 155 grain charges. That charge gets us 1,144 feet per second, 1,438 foot-pounds, 1,949 joules, and 57 pounds of recoil. Here we're doing 200 grain charge just to see how it works. Okay, Jerry, 200 grain.
13. 14, 15, and yes, it's starting to bite.
200 grains is another benchmark charge. We do that because some people have actually kind of shot that, but we're also just curious where it puts us. Energy-wise, we've got 1,341 feet per second, 1,978 foot-pounds, 2,682 joules, and 88 pounds of recoil. Tower of London's 220 grain charge.
That one smarted.
Okay, Jerry, 220 grain charge. What we got?
First round here.
16.
Number 17 was the second shot. Number 18 was the third shot.
And we had the same aiming point all the way through.
Correct.
And how'd your shoulder feel this time?
Quite sore.
Quite sore? Well, we don't have any dates for the 70 grain other than mid to late 18th century. And the 155 grain from Cuthbertson would be 1768. The 220 grain charges, we know those were done by the Tower of London in 1759, and they make several references to them. In our experiment, we've got 1,387 feet per second, 2,150 foot-pounds of energy, 2,868 joules, and 101 pounds of recoil. Now, in the context of the writings, it seems that the 220 grains was being shipped out overseas to the Army in different theaters, and the idea was the larger grainage like that was something to help offset any possible loss due to possibly moisture. So we went ahead and shot it anyway. Okay, so Jer, we've had a week basically since we did the shoot. We had 3 charges that were specifically historic charges, 70 grains, 155 grains, and 220. What are your thoughts on those different grainages?
70 was pretty light. Didn't really, we couldn't hold a good group. The 155 had a little more bite, had a real good group. The 220 It was punishing, it was heavy. Once again, it didn't group well, so the 155 is probably the most historically correct. It's one of the most accurate.
The most manageable.
Correct.
That's because I think, I mean, neither of us obviously is a period-sized person,
No.
and the 220 was definitely beating the heck out of you.
Correct.
So 155 at this point is probably, in our opinion, the best period round if you're going to reach out. Like we'll test it for 100 yards in that, but right now 155 is the most likely to be the best overall round.
It held a good group at 25. We'll walk at the 50, then we'll walk at the 75 possibly, and then go out to 100. And we'll find out. We'll see how big that group starts to get. Once again, that's shooter. But I think the 155 is probably going to be the best live round charge that we're going to stay with.
Okay. We're going to be doing more testing. We've got more rounds to try out, and we'll keep you guys posted. Like, share, and subscribe, and you can stay with us as we go ahead on this adventure.